Good evening, and thanks for tuning in to Notations of a Nappy Girl, episode 35. I always look it up before I start and I always forget. Um, Today, continuing with our self betterment, I'll call that series that we started with our first video of the year last week, I want to talk about being okay with yourself when having moments of weakness. Now, this can encompass a lot of things. There are people out there who don't like to cry, who don't believe that they should cry or that crying is an expression of weakness, things like that. When in reality, it's not. If you look at your crying as the same as rain, what happens when it rains? It cleanses the earth, so to speak. It cleanses that area that it fell in, so to speak, washing away all the dirt, the grime, and giving it a new beginning. The rain nourishes the trees, the plants, the grass, things like that. And if you look at your tears in that manner, you'd be more than willing to accept when you have those moments of perceived weakness, when you do have to cry. I personally, and it's going to sound so crazy, I personally cry at least once a day. Whether it's me forcing myself to cry, me having to think about something to get me to that point, because crying is kind of cathartic. It releases all that negative energy, all that pent up uncertainty. So it's okay. It's okay for men, it's okay for boys, it's okay for girls, women, whatever category you put yourself in. Crying is okay. It's not like saying, oh, I can't handle what I got going on and I'm weak because I'm going to cry. It's more or less saying that I'm full right now. So the cup that is me is going to overflow just a little bit. And that overflow is your tears. You need to get those things out. You need to purge yourself. Now, it's up to you to find what makes you comfortable with that. Are you comfortable crying around other people? Is it more of an intimate thing? I typically do it alone. Wouldn't want anybody to think I'm just going off my rocker. Um, but it's okay. And I say that because I talk to so many people who say, oh, well, I don't cry, or I'm not a punk, or I'm not weak. And it's like, people, when did we as a society become immune or adverse, I should say, when do we develop an aversion to expressing basic human emotion? You cry when you're happy. So you don't always cry when you're sad. So crying is not a negative. It's not indicative of something being wrong. It can just simply be you expressing you the only way you know how. So I'll leave you with that thought. Yes, I'm kind of brief today, just because taking some self time to self medicate with emotion and to love oneself is definitely a happy thing. Not too much I can really say about it because everybody has to find their own individual niche of what works for them. I journal daily, I cry daily, I think a lot, probably excessively. So for me, it's like as I go through each one of those motions, it takes away something negative that could possibly have the potential to take away from something positive within me. So, with that being said, embrace your emotional side, whether you're male or female. Just embrace who you are. Embrace that the fact, I'll say, that the world is not under your control. Everything that happens is not something that you have a direct control over. And that's okay. And I know I'm saying that's okay a lot, but it's because a lot of times in minorities, we've developed as a society an aversion to seeking help when we need help. I remember being told when I was little, just listening to grown folks talk, and somebody said, well, what goes on in my house stays in my house. That I don't believe in. I don't believe in telling children that. I never raised my son like that. It's like if there's something going on in your house that's bothering you enough to where it's negatively impacting you and you have to get it out, then get it out because you can't always talk to mama, daddy, sister, brother, cousin, auntie. Sometimes you need that outside person to take that concern too because they're completely unbiased. They have nothing to gain by misguiding you. So I say that, and that goes hand in hand with self help and self love simply because if we don't love ourselves, how can we ever expect anyone else to love us for who we are? That's my message. Peace and blessings. Be good, people. Till next week. Yay.